Hello everyone, welcome back to some more of The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, a great deal of twists actually happened. Let's see, looking at the summary thing I'm looking at here, we started off with talking to Gina about the notebook. Where we actually got someone special to slip up, namely Cosma. In that... Why is there no volume on mine? That was weird. Sorry, no volume on my headphones for a second. Anyways, we got someone important to slip up. In that, they know that the fact that Gregson has a metal trunk. Issue is, Gina recently found this, so whoever knew about that trunk must have been at the scene of the crime, the SS Grouse steamship. And who would let that slip but our very own friend, Cosmo Sogi. Essentially proving that he's there at the time. Now, you're probably wondering, what was Gregson and everyone doing there in the first place? Well, as it turns out, Gregson and an assassin, Cosma, were working under the Reaper to take out a certain target, which happens to be Judge Jigoku. The issue is that I believe it was something that, yes, he can't be, I guess something about like he can't, something, it can't be proven or something like that. We don't really know. I don't really remember too much. It's been a while for me. Anyways, the main thing is it devolves into, if Seishiro Jigoku isn't found because he went missing, if he isn't found, then the case, well, it's not gonna, then they'll have to continue on without him, which basically spells out the end for us. So we do the next best thing. We use Iris's lucky charm, tugging its ears, turning out to be a, I guess, proto-phone, or like a pager or something, I don't know. Anyways, we page Mr. Sholmes, who him and Miko Toba are at the steamship itself, investigating, of course. Through a probably my favorite investigation, we find Seijiro Jigoku, and we bring him back to, and now I guess they're bringing him back to the court? Yes, okay. Think that's it? Yeah, okay. That's pretty much everything. So, I guess with that being said, let's just continue on. If memory serves, we don't have too much to go on until the end, so that's good there. I think we can get this series wrapped up within 10 episodes or so, if we keep going the way we are normally. So, yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Let's keep going. Start of November, 12:10 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Cosmo Sogi, I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie, but still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying.
During the past 30 minutes while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jigoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained.
We must accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict.
Objection!
No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard all the relevant testimony, and there can only be one conclusion, that the accused is guilty. All relevant testimony? Far from it. There's still a crucial witness from whom the court is yet to hear a single word of testimony.
In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel.
Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way and scheduled to arrive tomorrow.
Who on earth is this crucial witness?
Seishiro Jigoku. The very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper.
Judge Jigoku, you found him?
But the investigations of every policing resource in the capital suggest Jigoku is already dead. How in the name of God did you find the man?
He was located in France during the recess, at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous seductions.
Herlock Sholmes.
Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death, because along with Prosecutor Asogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Which means that Seishiro Jigoku is the sole witness who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st of October.
Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move to an education at this point.
The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered.
In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side?
No, my lord.
No objections, my lord.
We live to fight another day, by the skin of our teeth. Oh, I guess I could have ended things there, couldn't I? Oh well. Save progress. Where are we now? I guess we'll save in this one. The unexpected halt of proceedings set a clamor around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then, at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. We have returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help. Oh, think nothing of it. I believe you had an even more wearing day than Mikotoba and I, no? You could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. So, this prosecutor Asogi had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say? Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, it's incredible to think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse. When all this started, almost a year ago now. Mr. Sholmes still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then. About the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie. Now then, I must say it's really quite a journey all the way to France. Well, it is another country, Mr. Sholmes. So, what news of Judge Jigoku?
We took him to Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives there have a lot of questions for the man.
The poor Professor Mikotoba. This must be quite a shock for him. Ah, yes. I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home. What is it? Surely you haven't forgotten already? I put upon you for the matter only yesterday.
You put upon me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well.
Oh, you've had a reply already? What was so urgent though, Mr. Sholmes? Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present.
Well, that's good news, because supper is ready, everyone.
Ah, and what a feast it is! If I were none the wiser, I'd think the trial were won already. Roast beef, kippers, stew, steak and kidney pie, Yorkshire pudding.
Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up.
In that case, I think I'll seat myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasant as well.
Oh, sorry, Hurley, not there.
Why ever not? Are we certain places this evening?
Yes, and that place is for Susie's daddy.
For me?
That's right. I made it especially for you, Professor Mickey.
I see. Well, that's terribly kind of you.
It's a shame, really.
What do you mean?
Well, for a brief moment, I believed that Susie and I were half-sisters, I mean.
Oh. Iris, do you mean...
Yes, I know now. I overheard yesterday. I secretly listened to into the conversation you had after I tricked you into thinking I'd left.
I imagine, yeah, it's not very hard to do. What? The misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Megatoba are Iris' father. Yes, about that, Iris. You know, I
know. You can't tell me at the moment.
Oh, Iris.
The pheasant is by way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping.
Oh, no, that's quite alright.
Then why don't I get my apologetic pheasant? So just who is Iris' father? Suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today. So then, let us dine, while our largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot.
A fine idea, Sholmes. It all looks absolutely delicious.
Eat as much as you like. There are always seconds.
This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About that telegram from Japan, and about Kazuma. I can't let this opportunity slip away. Why is he sitting there like that? Okay. Okay. Why is he sitting here like that? Mr. Sholmes? What are you doing? Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Megatoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes.
Sorry, Hurley, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy.
Even though I've played the role of father to you for far longer. Mr. Sholmes? Could I discuss some things with you? Certainly, my dear fellow. I find myself in quite the mood for a spell of conversation. No doubt. You're hungry to learn more of my deep love of game. I can probably contain my curiosity on that one. You need to look at me in that fashion. In what fashion? It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we shall have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss. Okay. So, what was in that telegram you received back from Japan then? Ah, this? I thank my lucky stars it arrived in time. Record found as indicated. Duplicate follows. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. What? Those 4 names? We've come across that exact same list before. Back at the end of Case 5. Well, technically this is Case 5. Back at the end of Case 5 of the first game. They came up in that unforgettable case last spring. What appeared to be a simple case of aggregated murder turned out to be a masking of monumental intrigue. A plot that involved a series of British governmental secrets to foreign states. And exposing the means by which those secrets were being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. But we didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are the names coming up again now?
Yes. Where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes?
I have here the message I had wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Judge Jigoku's office undetected and investigate telegram records. Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. Judge Jigoku? List of 4 names. Need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. Excuse me? You put it under my name, yeah?
I sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature.
Hosonaga.
You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you?
And in my name? Yeah? I wonder what guys he opted for this time. My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand.
Anyway, the list of names we found in Seisho's office, as Shums predicted.
So you mean, that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was...
It was sent to Judge Jigoku. He was the intended recipient.
I don't believe it.
But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies.
I did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it. Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. So it was... So wait, let me see this for a second. Okay, yeah. So it's literally found in his office, so it was sent to him from who? Wait a second. Shin was the assassin, as was K. Asogi. But then Gregson, as said before, as I believe, as either Cosmo or Van Zeke says, was the tactician, right? So that means, if the top 2 are tacticians, are the bottom 2 tacticians and the top 2 assassins? Right? But no, Wilson was a medical professor. He wouldn't be an assassin. So, are they supposed to be? Huh. Alrighty then. That tragedy we had to go through in Mrs. Buria. It was all for nothing. Cosmo wasn't dead at all. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie. I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, At the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. What? I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan.
His remains, you mean?
Precisely, Mr. Sato. And then, I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead.
Oh my, you mean...
The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student, lawyer, and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Oseogi, I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least.
Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Cosmo from coming to Britain? That's why you...
Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England?
Yeah, he did!
Oh wait, what is Hosanaga's voice?
The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Britain and Japan. In light of Mr. Sogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead.
My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely.
But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer.
The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
So, you manipulated me!
I've often remarked on the extraordinary length to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend.
I don't believe it! But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her?
Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought. Is that why she was gone? He was gone for all of Case 5? All of Case 3? Huh. I seem to remember Mr. Sato and I had some rather strong words for her.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure.
Well, I mean... No, not really. I mean, saying someone could have died is literally better than saying you killed somebody. Like, she now has to carry that guilt with her for the rest of her life, basically. Instead, you could have just told her and said, hey, you could have killed somebody. Because then it's like, oh, guess I have to shape up. Well, whereas now she's trying to atone for her sin that she never even made.
I wonder if she made it to America then. That sounds like something for a sequel.
I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Cosmo-sama from reaching Britain?
The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see.
Oh.
An omen, at this very moment in time, is close at hand. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand? We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. Okay. Do we just like... Okay, do we just present it to him then? An omen a year ago, huh? Is there something I have to do? Like... I mean, I know what it is, so... Do we just... I guess we present this? I don't know. There was no room for doubt with your instructions on this telegram, Mr. Sholmes. You were very clear that it was Judge Jigoku's office that should be searched. So, you obviously knew that that's where this list of names would be found.
Kayasogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson.
But we only learned of those 4 names just over 6 months ago now. And only because they appeared as part of the top secret government communications that were leaked. That's true, yes. But at the time, you were unaware of the background. You see, those 4 names were wired to Japan around 6 months before that. Approximately this time last year, in fact, when you were both still in Japan. A year ago! The omen! That's what that meant, okay.
It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets.
Because after all, I am perpetually eavesdropping on communications between British and Japanese governments. You're perpetually doing what? How?
Never mind that details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Sherlock Sholmes, when he has no designs on knowing it. Oh my, Mr. Sholmes, what a fabulous line.
Yeah, a fabulous line. I mean, that basically confirmed that he's been spying on state secrets.
Now, 1 month after that list of 4 names was wired to the recipient Jigoku in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. As soon as I learned of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partly correct and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all the tragic events that we were to follow.
Mr. Sholmes, please, tell us all you know. Tell us about these 4 names and the tragedy to which they're all somehow connected. What is this about?
As I said, when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names, because, you see, there was someone else on the list, who I believe to be recently deceased.
What? Who?
A. Shin, as was transcribed in Japanese script. In actual fact, Miss Asa Shin. That was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known among London's unsavory classes.
Oh, I see. She was a whole killer, huh?
But she had completely vanished from the existence several months before Wilson's murder. So, I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed. And accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list.
Ah! Kayasogi and T. Gregson.
Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself. But I determined it would be safest if young Asogi were to stay away from Britain.
Ah, so that's why you went to such lengths to prevent his study tour from going ahead. They figure because Asa Shin was killed, they're onto them. So they're just icing everybody. Huh.
Exactly.
So, you already knew who Cosmo-sama was, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I recounted many tales about Asogi to him in my letters, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course.
Yeah, you all were in cahoots? Really? So, Dr. Wilson is dead then? I didn't know.
Oh, Iris.
I know he wasn't my daddy, but still, that's very sad.
I'm so sorry, Iris. We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No. But what you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis. A big hole, Mr. Naruhodo?
Ah, yes. You mean about Asashin, I presume?
Oh, of course.
Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she?
Well, I mean, she was, just not at that time.
She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett.
I'm glad you're keeping up, my Defino. Also, hold up. Her real name is Asashin. Isn't that a Japanese name? Then, like, wouldn't it be best if... whatever. I don't understand that. But I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago, in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel. Ah! And upon hearing that startling revelation, my hypothesis that had formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy. What?
Topsy?
What do you mean when you say your hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Sholmes? I believed all 4 names on the list to be the names of victims. However, I was mistaken.
Very much so. Asashin was a killer. So, this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, is it?
Indeed, and it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status being merely a front. Ah! Which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions. So the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Asashin is because he was the target of an assassination. Oh no, actually no, it was. So I just realized that's probably why she went into the medical field, to find the poison to kill Dr. Wilson, because it was part of her mission. She probably had all that stuff set up too. And forearmed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective. What do you mean? Well, does it not strike you there was another among the 4 who subsequently became a visiting student? Wait, you mean... But of course, a name you know only too well. You mean... Kazuma? Oh? He did say in court earlier today. Yes, on the 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission.
And the mission was...
The assassination of the Mark. The Mark, not Judge Jigoku, the Mark. Young Mr. Asogi accepted that mission 1 year ago now. Surely not. In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts. An international agreement, one might say, entailing an assassin exchange. An assassin exchange? How could Kazuma possibly have gotten involved in something like that? Let's assume that we have 2 parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those 2 parties then make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange. So, to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her target. And then, the Japanese assassin is dispatched as the visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. It certainly does sound like an exchange. But, what on earth is the point?
Don't forget, Naruhodo. that the British assassin at least escaped conviction, thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction.
Ah, yes.
Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of a new treaty between our two countries. So the fact that it was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels.
The highest levels? These murders were two sides of the same coin, linked not by common motive but by contractual agreement. As such, they appear utterly unrelated, yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. That dissociation and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot.
But wait a minute, Sholmes. If this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting, it would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Seisho Jigoku at all. It would mean Asogi's target was actually Inspector Gregson.
What? Cosmo's here for Gregson? So Judge Jigoku wasn't actually the mark? Yes, that's exactly what it would mean. I held myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe. Mr. Sholmes, I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Obviously, with the young pickpocket in tow. That's why he said he was going to Paris with Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Grand Exhibition, that he'd be transferring to the Paris police and taking Gina with him. But, without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last. This is too much to take in. Alright everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it early? I mean, look at the time. Ah, quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow. What preparations?
Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. This has certainly been a night to remember.
It is a little bit sad, though. I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Because then, Susie would have been my big sister.
I'm sorry, Iris. I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing.
Were you?
But if somebody like me would be worthy, I would be delighted to become your sister.
What? Really?
Oh yes, without question.
So, you'll teach me all the ways you know how to throw Bruno to the floor?
Yes, of course. It would be my pleasure. You didn't have to agree quite so readily.
Oh, but wait a minute. If Susie's gonna be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want, Bruno.
Huh? I mean, yes, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother. Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I've raised you so well. Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally.
Right. I'm gonna work extra hard for tomorrow now. Because it's for my big brother and sister.
What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what?
You'll just have to wait and see.
Oh. Good luck in court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance. I'll do my very best, of course. Alrighty then. So, the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point. Exposing new truth while posing new conundrums. That list of 4 names on the telegram in Judge Jigoku's office, and the extraordinary assassin plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I'd been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I was sure I would see the light again soon. Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. Well, I think that's a worthy end to the episode. We're only 40 minutes in, but, well, this feels like the calm before the storm, so to speak, you know? Anyways, I guess it's just safe here. There it is. So, next time, is it gonna... Okay, yeah. So, next time, we are going to head back to the courtroom, continue the trial, and, yeah. I guess now that Jigoku's back, we might be able to get a bit of testimony from him. And, yeah. Anyways, I guess with that being said, thank you all for watching, and, yeah. I'll see you all next time. Actually, wait. Can I just say, I feel like... I don't know, it feels a bit weird. I might have more words on this when I actually finish the series, but it does kind of feel a bit weird to be, I guess within range of finishing it, because we're like in like the last 10 episodes or so now, because there's, realistically speaking, there's not too much more of the game left. There might be 5 or 6 episodes, I guess. I don't know. At max 5 or 6 episodes left, but I'll give an estimate saying around 10 episodes, so we are literally at basically the end of the series, and well, this is basically my longest series yet. We're like at 80 something episodes, where all my other series are like under 10 episodes, you know. And the longest series before this would be GTA. So, yeah. I guess with that being said, I don't know. I'll have to think about it, but I'm not sure what to do, because in real life, I've been at this, recording this on and off for like almost a year and a half now, you know. So, like I started this in 2022, spent all of 2023 recording it, and I guess I'll finish either this week, if not this week, then in early 2024. So it's like, I don't know. I guess it's kind of giving me a perspective on series, because I have a bunch of like games that are longer, as long as this one. Like, for example, what am I calling it? Like, for example, Tales of Berseria, or even Final Fantasy 15, where I kind of feel like, hey, you know, this was a fun game. I want to play it. Yet, you know, now that I've actually done a longer series, it's like, you know, I wouldn't say I'm hesitating. I just have a lot more to think about. So, yeah. Anyways. Don't worry, the next one will be a much shorter Let's Play. I estimate that will be less than 10 episodes, if I do everything right. So, I guess with that being said, thank you all for watching, and, yeah, I will see you all next time.